my skin so gorgeous. We thank the life gorgeous. Thank the life gorgeous. I love the life gorgeous. Its torso is so tight.
Oh, look who's back, young people. It's Mr. Kilbourne. It's Craigers. Happy New Year 2024. And today it is the Life Gorgeous, where I share my magical life in hopes of improving your life. And today we start off with fan questions. Fan questions for the new year. Solo Kilby. It's intimate. It's healing for some people. Thanks for all the feedback, and thanks for following me on Instagram and also at the YouTube channel. I want to be as consistent as the conquistador lamp. He is so strong. He's a leader, and he never changes. Of course, I change and improve, and that's what I try to teach. First question, Craigers. Does a guy like you set any New Year's resolutions? Good question. I don't really, because I'm constantly working to improve. And the things that I really need to improve on are mostly physical. The mental's all there. I'm going to get to the mental all there at some point. But for me, it's more about, do I stretch enough? I've always had tight hamstrings. It affects my lower back. It's going pretty well now. But the more I stretch, the better I feel. I also need to exercise. I try to walk 5 miles a day. It's really probably, honestly, averaging out to 2.8. That's not enough. That's not enough. I don't go to a gym. I always used to be a member of a gym. I don't like any of the gyms in the area, so I do a little bit of a workout at home, and I could always go harder. I could always push myself harder. I'll tell you one of the problems. This is kind of funny. Craigers is a skinny young man, very slender with a massive chest. And I've always lifted weights. My brother and I, we always lifted weights. They're different body types, ectomorph, mesomorph. I was the skinny guy that really didn't, no matter how much I lifted, I didn't see a lot of gains. They're called gains when you build muscle mass. But one of the things I found is when I lifted weights, I always was ravenous, very, very hungry. So I kind of like to just to do cardio where I walk. And then I drink my water. I have my salads. I have some rice and Indian food. But I'm not quite as ravenous when I don't lift weights. So I kind of rationalize that that's kind of cool. I don't know if it is. But I look like, I've told people, if you saw Peter O'Toole at age 20 at the beach with his shirt off, that's kind of how I'm built. Slender, beautiful. But I'm very content with that. But I should exercise more. Now, as far as the mental state, I've always had a positive attitude. I think I'm kind of on an island. I'm very compassionate with people who have mental health issues, but then you have the people that haven't been diagnosed and they're just malcontents and whiners, and I think they're very irritating and counterproductive to society. That'll all be in my book. But I'm going to give you one gem that I had from years ago, and I've softened it a bit, but this is how I used to think. Have you ever heard that expression? When you do charity work, you're going to get more out of it than the charity. You ever heard that before? I heard that years ago, and I said, whoa. I already feel good about myself. When I wake up in the morning, I feel fine. I'm helping the charity. I'm just doing it for the charity, not for me. I'm good over here. I don't need to feel better about myself. Now, that was, probably 20 years ago, I had that thought. And I realized people are struggling, and it's euphoric for them to give to charity, and that's good. That's positive. So if I put that in my book, I'm going to maybe talk about it, soften it a little bit, and say, I understand that how great it feels for people to do that. My point was that, some of us just feel pretty good all the time. And why do we have to tiptoe, concerning that? Why can't we just exist and breathe? And sometimes I say bask. Anyway, one of the problems is when I talk about exercise is I do sit in my club chair and bask, and I'm very sedentary. So I need to make sure I move the bod. I will say I always like to improve my diet as far as a New Year's resolution. But I do this all year round. But thank God I don't have a sweet tooth. But man, I'm telling you, the cheese, been vulnerable and talked about the white cheddar popcorn. I can't help it. I finished the bag. It's so much fun. It's so light. Is it really filling? I don't think so. I should eat more salads. I really should. I've been making cucumber salad recently. I just love it with feta cheese, Greek salad, red onions, olives, black olives. It's kind of exciting. Okay, that was a good question. That was kind of fun, kind of cathartic. Next question. Mr. Kilbourne, the Vikings season, up and down, a lot of injuries. What are your overall... Okay. This is Kevin O'Connell's second year. I enjoy Kevin O'Connell. He's very positive. I think we all know, and he knows, he needs to improve his play calling. It's sometimes brilliant, other times a little too cutesy with the trick plays. But he gets the heat. He feels the heat. But overall, it's his second year. I like what he's doing. He does really like to pass the ball. And I think they should mix in the run more. We were on a 5-game winning streak. Kirk was playing the best he's ever played. Then he tore his Achilles. We have issues with the backup quarterbacks, which is really an adventure. I'm recording this prior to Sunday's game hosting Green Bay. We always want to win. Obviously, if we lose, it improves the draft position. But it's frustrating towards the end. We lost a lot of close games that were winnable. We outplayed Denver and lost at Denver. When I say outplay, it means we outgained them and we outplayed them. But the defense improved. I do like Brian Flores. There were some problems with the defense at the end of the season in the fourth quarter, giving up leads. But it was a pretty good year. I want to see if we can get healthy and stay healthy next year. Draft a quarterback, re-sign Kirk, re-sign JJ, draft a quarterback in the top 10, possibly a franchise quarterback. Very upset about the TJ Hawkinson injury because it's going to bleed over into the regular season next year, and that's very upsetting. We have 7 wins right now. We just never go 3-14, or we just don't do that because we're the Minnesota Vikings. We're always good. Super Bowl has eluded us thus far. Thanks for your question, Mr. Kilbourne. Well, 2 Mr. Kilbournes back to back. Sometimes it's Gregor, sometimes it's Lord Kilby. Mr. Kilbourne, Timberwolves. What are your concerns about your Timberwolves? Well, I'm enjoying the season. I was kind of worried about, who we're going to meet in the first round. And then I said, stop it. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the regular season. So I've always said we need shooting off the bench. I don't know if we're going to make a trade before the trade deadline. I'm not sure. Let's see what happens. The other one that bothers me a little bit, and I'm a big fan of Coach Finch, and he says in an interview, he said, we're not going to have the point guard with 14 assists because we move the ball, and 4 assists, 5 assists for different guys. And I understand the ball movement, but I loathe turnovers, and we had 24 the other night at Oklahoma City. I'd just rather see Mike Conley handle the ball than Naz Reid. Unless Naz is going straight line to the rim. Some of these passes I can't handle, man. I can't handle it. So I wouldn't mind. I like when point guards handle it most of the time. I liked Ricky Rubio. There was a guy that played for the Lakers named Magic Johnson. Anyway, so we got to cut down on the turnovers. We got to improve our shooting. Our defense is good. And, it's still kind of early. We're off to just an amazing start. But we have some flaws we have to work on, and hopefully we'll do that. Thanks for your question. This podcast is sponsored by EveryPlate. Sizzle your way into the new year with $1 steak for life. Simply add a 10-ounce ranch steak to your weekly order for just $1 per box while your subscription is active. Now that's raising the stakes for dinner. You hear that? Looking to budget your food expenses in the new year? Save big and eat great with America's best value meal kit. Their meals are cheaper than your average fast casual meal. So ditch the takeout to save money. while still enjoying fresh, satisfying meals. They're the easiest way to eat affordably. Put the money you save towards making 2024 plans and make the sustainable choice this January. Every Plate offsets 100% of their delivery emissions, and their meals have a 31% lower carbon footprint on average than supermarket meals of the same portion. Plus, nearly all packaging materials are curbside recyclable in most areas in the United States. Friends, there are different meal kits out there, but Every Plate has a lower price with top quality. Lord Kilby just enjoyed spicy penne and chicken sausage meatballs. Yay! And guess what I did with the money I saved? I bought a nice Cabernet from Sonoma this time. It's called Living. It is so satisfying. Getting great food, but saving money at the same time, and then shifting that money to something else, like wine. It makes good business sense. Ladies and gentlemen, get a meal for $1.49 plus $1 steaks for life by going to everyplate.com/podcast and entering code 49Kilborn. Subscription must be active to qualify and redeem $1 steak. Again, get a meal for $1.49 plus $1 steaks for life by going to everyplate.com/podcast and entering code 49Kilborn. Subscription must be active to qualify and redeem $1 steak. That's up to $110 value. Thanks, Every Plate, for sponsoring the Life Gorgeous. Lord Kilby, I always love hearing what you've been watching recently. Good question. So I've yet to watch Maestro. I plan on watching it. I like the clips. I like the Mulligan's. I don't remember her first name. Anyways, I liked her accent that she was using, her New England accent or whatever that was. Carrie Mulligan. So I look forward to watching that, but I haven't watched it yet. So what I do sometimes, especially during the NBA season when I watch so much basketball, I will rewatch movies. And sometimes you have to be careful. You might get a little bored with certain movies. You're not in the mood. But I just this week started watching again the Jason Bourne series. And I love it. And I've only really seen it. I think this is the fourth time through, which might not sound like a lot. I really like Pamela Landy. It's Joan Allen, the actress. I love Brian Cox. Love him. I was late to the Jason Bourne party, and I'm going to tell you why. I didn't watch it until had been out for a number of years. I was so into Mission Impossible, and I'm obviously obsessed with James Bond since I was a kid. And I love Daniel Craig. Both Mission Impossible and James Bond have some humor in it, and it's a lighter. But there is absolutely no humor in the Bourne series. And now I'm kind of embracing it because it's so intense. It makes everything so intense. So I think it was like, it doesn't have any humor. Maybe that's why I didn't watch it for a while. I'm not sure. But I now just really adore the Bourne series. So I've been watching that lately. Okay, and where are we? Sometimes these fan question solo Kilbys are brief, but and people have said, go longer, Craig. We love hearing you talk and blah, blah, blah. But this is life. I keep them quick. Sometimes if I have stories, they go a little longer. Kilby, I love the Life Gorgeous, and I'm trying to lead it, but it's not easy. Can everyone lead the Life Gorgeous or just some? I always try to stay positive, but honestly, only some people can do it. Because if you have a bad attitude, if you're a malcontent, if you're bitter, it's pretty hard. But I try to keep a big tent open for all these people and say maybe parts of their lives can be the Life Gorgeous. But mostly it's for the positive, happy people, the people that are content and don't have bad attitudes. Also, people have asked me, I'm a positive person, Craig, but I have negative people in my life. What should I do? And one of my favorite quotes that Kilborn came up with, I have don't chase the night, breathe out the bitterness. I like to give people their space. So those might be old friends who have bad attitudes. I'm just going to give them their space. What does that mean? It means I don't hang out with them. ignore. I have done this. This sounds harsh, but it's healthy. You eliminate some people from your life. They're negative, they're counterproductive, they're less talented than you, and they're playing games, and you're busy in your own creative world. I like to give people their space. Got a lot of good guests coming up. I'm not going to tell you who, but you'll see. We've got some really good guests in 2024. And of course, you people have told me the feedback that you like it when I have on my repeat guests, my friends, some of the broadcasters, occasionally people from Minnesota, the backbone of our country, the Midwest. That's our show. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. And remember, young people, I'm proud of you.